everybody, welcome to the Coffee Run Live. It is Wednesday. Loving this day already so very much. So today we are going through talking about isolation, and I think it's a really common thing. In fact, it's really kind of interesting. I was chatting with a girlfriend of mine on the weekend who plays roller derby with me, and hey Ainsley, and one of the things we were talking about is about dealing with this thing of isolation. So when we're our own boss and we are we're amazing, we're fit, we're healthy, we're strong, we've got people around us, we're really well supported. You know, we've got all of this stuff going on and it's really fabulous. But for a lot of us, we are also working from home. We're building our businesses from home, and we don't always have a really massive local network of people who really get us. It's funny because, a friend of mine and I were talking about this on the way home from roller derby, about how she's got this job which many people would think would be the most ideal, most amazing job. She gets to work from home. She doesn't very often have to go into the office, but she said what she finds for her is that she'll get up, she'll, pull her dressing gown on or whatever, and then go jump on the laptop, get on the computer at like 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, and often her partner, her husband will come home and she's still sitting there in the same position. So hasn't gone out, hasn't talked to anybody, hasn't gone and done anything else, just, work. She was saying to me that she's almost considering going and getting more of a normal job to get back into an office, to get back into a place where she's interacting with other people. And I think this is one of the things that doesn't really get spoken about very often when we are building our own businesses, when we are really driving and striving to grow, build, connect with people all over the place, build our businesses on the internet. It's not always so easy and doesn't always feel as simple as, most of us aren't going to say, okay, I'm just going to go and get a job in order to, to build connection. So what options do we have as entrepreneurs? Ainsley said, yep, I feel her. Good morning and happy hump day. Yeah, it's a really common thing. And I know for me, when we're in a remote area, it can be even worse. So Ainsley, you're living overseas at the moment. It's a completely different ballgame. I live in the middle of nowhere as well. So, it's an interesting thing. In fact, it was brought up as well, actually, by a client of mine yesterday who said that given her location, also lives reasonably, hey Sean, also lives reasonably regionally. She didn't think that there was anybody else in her, around her that sort of thought the same as her, was building a business like her. And she said it was really very isolating. And I guess for me, what I found is that I've always had online communities. I've always been a part of a mastermind, or I've always been part of a group where I've got people that I can say, hey, I'm having a really shit day, or hey, I'm having a really amazing day, we should totally celebrate, or hey, do you just want to chat? So I think it's really important that we've got things in place in order to help us. So that's from a work perspective. Catherine says, I do miss having a work wife and a work husband. Yeah, totally. It's a real thing, right? I think for me, one of the things that has been my absolute saving grace has been having something outside of work. So twofold. So number one is roller derby. And roller derby has served me in the sense that it gives me an outlet from work. It gives me an outlet from home. It's given me a really amazing group of freaking badasses who I can go and hang out with and just talk all things skating with, right? You might play netball, or you might have basketball, or you might do soccer, or you might do book club or a knitting circle, or anything that you might have. I would very strongly encourage that you have something outside of what you're doing, your business per se, to actually go out there, get out there and build a peer group that is actually not related to business. I think it's super important. And the second thing that I think is really important after, being in this game for more than 10 years is to make sure that you've also got a peer group of like-minded other business owners who can remind you that, you know what, yes, you are freaking crazy. You are batshit crazy. And yeah, what you're doing is not normal. And yes, what you're doing is completely different to what most other people would do, and probably completely different to what anyone would really, go and throw themselves wholeheartedly into. And that's actually okay. And that there are a ton of us out here who are all out there doing the same, doing similar things to you. And have those people around you, and always have someone like that, always have people like that on board that you can go and draw back upon, and also give back to. Because if you think about it, there are times sometimes each day, but certainly in our journey, where we are going to be a little bit more needy, where maybe something happens and we just sit there and we're like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know that this is even worth it. Or this really knocked me. Or maybe you get some bad feedback. Or maybe you completely fuck up and it destroys and undermines your confidence for a while. Now, I know for me, one of the things that has gotten me through some of the darkest periods in my business has been having a group of people that I can say, this is really shit, and they can't fix it, right? But they let me know, they remind me, it's like, hey, this too shall pass. And they can hold up the mirror and say, hang on a second, you're amazing, you're a badass, you're a freaking rock star, like, your stuff, that what you're doing is amazing, like, don't stop, don't give up, your people need you. And that's what you really want to be able to have in your life and in your world as well. Whether it's, hey, Judith, nice to see you, thank you. Check them out. I've gone a different shape this time. She says, nice nails. I'm still doing like the multicolor thing because I'm really liking it. But I've gone different colors. I'm having a photo shoot tomorrow, and I left getting my nails done right to the very, very last minute. So I'm glad you like them. Yes, so I completely digressed, obviously, because nails. So we want to have these people around us that we can draw upon for support, and who can remind us that, yes, sometimes things are shit, but you know what? You've got this. You're amazing. You can really help people, and the world really needs to hear what it is that you have to say. So 2 really important things to be dealing with isolation when you're building your own business. Number 1 is have an outlet that is not related to business, that is ideally not even related to family. Right? I don't believe that it's enough. I mean, and you might be of a different opinion, but I don't believe it's enough for you to just have your family and your business around you. I really, really strongly believe that you need another group of people. And it could be sport related, like I said, it could be hobby related, it could be anything like that. But have something in an ideal world where you're able to go and congregate with people, where it's not about business, and you have to fully immerse yourself in the thing that you're doing, which is where roller skating is really great, because if you're not present, you go ass over tip. Like you will fall over, and you are likely to hurt yourself, and that's really unfortunate. So you've got to be super present. So find something that does have you going like, oh, I've got to be, really mindful here. It could even be like a sewing club, where if you're not mindful of how the material is working through the machine, you get a needle through your finger. Like, that would suck. So find things that you've got an outlet for. And then the second point is to make sure that you've also got then a business group of people who get it, who understand what it is that you're going through, and what you're building, and why you're building it, and how you're building it, and what you're really passionate about. Because there will be days, if you haven't experienced them yet, there are days where you kind of go, you know what, I know I have a crown, but it's really freaking heavy. Like, the weight of it's really, really heavy, and I don't know that I can carry on. And then you can just go like, hang on a second, I'm just going to park that there for a moment. They say, bitch, put your crown back on. And then you go, oh, okay, yeah, that's right, that's who I am. And then you're back into it again, all over again. So that's how we deal with isolation in business. And then the other part about all of that as well is that you don't want to rely on your clients to mitigate that isolation either, right? So I know many of you will have clients that you're working with online, that maybe even you're working with locally, but make sure that you also have the external people outside of that as well, because it's a bit of unfair pressure to put on your clients to fulfill that need of not being isolated. Ainsley, you are the queen. Oh yes, well, it takes one to know one, right? Yes, takes one to know one. Now, I did say to you guys yesterday that I was going to share with you the Queen of the Motherfucking Internet program, and I can't, because it's taken me longer to build up the stuff than what I thought. So I will be unleashing that for you very, very soon. It is really fantastic and amazing. And of course, it's all about you remembering, hang on a second, I am a freaking queen, putting that crown on and freaking owning it. Owning that stance, owning that reign, owning your regalness. I don't know if that's even a word. This really hurts. Hang on. I think that's better. That's a bit better. Does that look better? Maybe it needs to sit there. I feel like it doesn't connect on my head properly. I have a great network but need a personal outlet, says Catherine. Yeah, I actually think it's one of the keys to success is having that personal network, because it gives you, it's really interesting, right? Like, so people in my personal network, and they're all amazing, but every now and again they're like, so what is it that you do? And I'm just like, oh, I just do some stuff on the internet. And then I really play it down, because I don't want that personal network to be about work. I really treat that almost like a mental health outlet. I'm happy to jibber jabber about work a little bit, but I'm not using it for that purpose. So, but yeah. Now, the other part, the final part that's just come to me about this actually, in terms of dealing with this, in terms of dealing with the isolation, is you also want to make sure that you've got regular things in place, and that you are asking for connection, and that you're asking for help when you need it. It's not even an if you need it, it's a when you need it. And it's about really being very clear and setting a very firm boundary with yourself about knowing when you're kind of coming into this, like it might be a mindset thing where you're coming into this thing, right? Into almost like a downward slope. It might be in mindset, it might be productivity, it might be an increase in procrastination, where you can go, hang on a second, where are my people? I need people to remind me of how awesome I am. And so it's that there are certain people in my world where I'll go back and say, you know what? I know you love me, and this isn't an ego thing. I just need you to tell me that I'm good, that I'm amazing, that I'm on the right track, and that I'm awesome, and that I've got this. Like, that's all I need. Just give me the things that I need, and they don't judge you for that, right? So we've got to have those people around us as well at all times. All right, so that is that, my fellow queens of the internet. I can't wait to share this program with you. I've got the imagery and stuff found out. I found the imagery. Finally, I've been waiting. It's a bit like, how journaling always provides the answers. And I know that, like, when you reach out for help, you get the answers that you need, and you get the support that you need, and things like that. But it's really interesting. I've had this idea for this program, and it's bubbled through, and it came through my journaling, which is really great, which is, where it always happens. But what has been really interesting is that I normally have the imagery will almost appear to me in my head with what I'm going to do in terms of the photos that I put up on the internet, in terms of how I write the emails, and the theming that wraps around a program. And it didn't come in until I was in my car office last night watching my daughter play train for netball, and I was just like, oh, freaking finally. And so then I got caught up in all of the images, and have been busy this morning, so I haven't had a chance to build all of that out, but I will, and I will let you know all about the 6 weeks of fabulousness that is about to unfold for a really spectacular group of individuals as we reign supreme over the internet. All right, everybody, have a really great and amazing day. I trust that you are all fabulous, and, make sure you build out those networks so that you can really have the support in place, so that you don't feel isolated, or as isolated as what we can sometimes while we're doing what it is that we're doing. So get out there, go help some people, have a whole lot of fun doing it. Oh, look, my husband's just joined on. Hey, Tamara, you have as well. Dom, do you like my crown? I think it really suits me. which kind of makes you the king. Because Queen King, right? So get out there, go help some people be visible, have a whole load of fun doing it. I will talk with you all tomorrow. I am journeying my way to the Gold Coast tomorrow to run an event over the weekend, a 3-day boot camp. I am so freaking pumped about that. Can't wait I'll share a bit of behind the scenes with you, I think. As we go over that event, it's going to be it's just so much fun. So much fun, so transformational, really, really awesome. Hey, Andrew, good to see you. Happy Wednesday. So we'll be doing that. I will share with you the queen of the motherfucking internet over the next couple of days. I promise you. I've just got to go and get the tech set up because I haven't done that yet. We'll go do that. And remember, the world is ready for your brand of awesomeness. All right, everyone. Take care. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.